We all know that switching players is the main part you have to master and strengthen your defense, whereby you select that right defender at the right moment to defend different scenarios. And we know we have different tools to switch players, like the L1 switch. This selects the nearest defender around the ball, and the right analog switch. This is a manual switch, where you can select any player at any given moment from different angles. But the biggest mistake amateur players make is to over-rely on the L1 switch. This mistake is very common among Division 3 player and below. For example here, this opponent I faced, he was only using L1 switch to select his defenders. So here I pass to my winger, control the ball, and try to sprint forward. You can tell he's a lower division player due to the way he defends. He overcommits to block the byline. So I break using the ball roll. I see this pass, but I didn't take it because I was expecting him to close it down using one of these two defenders. But since he's just only using the L1 switch, which we all know only switches to players around the ball, this means he can't stop this pass, so I quickly take it. Now here the same story. This pass to my striker is more dangerous, but the opponent can't close it down because he over-depend on the L1 switch. Now he can only control these three defenders because they are near the ball. So I take this pass, take another extra pass to my striker, control into the space, and score this cut-in. So the disadvantages of over-relying on L1 switching is that you will always be late to the current moment, because every time you switch the opponent has already decided his next move. Another one is that you can't defend some scenarios, especially when the opponent is taking that long pass to his distant option. You can't select that defender in that position to deal with that pass if you only use the L1 switch. So how can we fix this mistake and adapt to the modern way of defending in FC24? What's modern defending? Here you predict the opponent's possible next pass. If it's distant or near, then you immediately select one of your defender near that ball receiver and close that option. But we can't defend like this by just using the L1 switch. You have to practice and learn the right analog switch. The right analog switch is simple to use. You just need the right settings, go for classic, then set the reference on player relative. And the sensitivity I either go for 5 or 6. So the player relative, the player with the cursor is the center of the switch. So if you want to switch to this distant defender in this example, just imagine a clock. Now as you see, this player is in between 2 and 3 o'clock. So you flick the right analog towards that direction, and boom, that player will be selected. So from here you can take the needed defense action from in that moment. Defending like this, it's called active defending, where you defend the future option the opponent is about to take. Here you're able to react in time and match the opponent's attacking moves and speed, of which it's hard to do when only depending on L1 switch. Let's have only quick examples. The opponent passes to his midfielder. I see this pass to his winger looking dangerous, so I use the right stick switch, basing on the clock knowledge. This player I want to select is at 5 o'clock. I flick towards that direction. I gain control over that player, speed jockey, and intercept the ball. But let's assume in this scenario, I use the L1 switch. So if I rushed before the opponent passes the ball, using L1 the game would have selected these players because they are near the ball. And if I wait for the opponent to make the pass as the majority do before they switch, here I would have been late in this situation. Like the opponent could make a pass and move with this player, as I'm still gaining control of this pass. And after controlling him, the next step is to approach the ball holder. As me, the one who is late in this situation, I will be dragging this player out of position, giving the opponent chance to get in behind and punish me. But good enough, I used the right stick switch and changed the possible outcome this scenario could have caused. Another example, here is the opponent is dribbling to this direction. I use this mini-map to scan and I see his winger on the line waiting for the pass, and am seeing the opponent is facing the ball towards that direction, so it can be his possible next pass. At this moment the winger is not visible on the screen, but I use the mini-map, see my fullback behind the opponent's winger. Using the clock idea, this player is the one with the cursor, and so he's the center of the switch, and this fullback is in between 9 and 8 o'clock. But here you can even flick towards 8 or 9 and still the game will compensate you. So I gain control over that fullback and I close up the pass just like that. Last example, here the opponent sends his striker forward as he controls the ball inside. In this situation, the opponent has this running player in behind and am controlling this fullback. So if I use the L1 switch, the game 80% will select this midfielder. But here in order to defend this raising through pass opportunity, I have to select this center back, and I have to do it fast, because this running player is Mbappe, and we all know how fast he is. So according to the clock logic, this center back is in between 1 and 2 o'clock, but still you can take 2 and the game compensates you for trying. So I flick the right analog to that direction, gain control over that center back, sprint in behind, and in the end I was able to stop this dangerous pass. The first mistake is to use the second man press on your center back wrongly. How? Let's first understand how the second man press works. So when you activate the second man press, tier 1, this green icon will appear on that player. This player will press the ball, but he doesn't run straight to the ball. He mostly tries to run in front of the ball. For example, if the ball is here and the opponent is dribbling to this direction, this second man press player will run in this path trying to get in front of this player, instead of running directly towards the ball position, so it anticipates the ball movements. Here is the quick examples of using the second man press on the center back wrongly. Here I use the pass and move to send this midfielder forward. I control the ball safely as the opponent is pressing my winger. As soon as I leave, that fullback behind the opponent selects another player to apply pressure. But here you can see that he's using the second man press on this center back. You can't see the green icon of the opponent because it's an online mode. So this center back is moving out position, pressing the ball direction, and the opponent is not even aware what is happening. He then selects the center back because he's able to apply pressure, but in a wrong position. See this big open space opened? I take an extra pass to my other midfielder because this pass lane is now blocked. I get the ball to my player with the open passing angle and take this deep through ball to my player, get in behind and score this beautiful goal. This mistake is very common among average players. Most of them, they do it unknowingly, holding the second man press without being aware of the selected defender, and the most punishable player is the center back. So let's see how we can fix this mistake and you avoid it. First of all, you have to be aware of the selected defender. The green icon indicates the second man press player. The moment you see green icon on the wrong player you don't want to press, release the button. As simple as that. Being aware is the only solution here. You have to use the second man press only if you're sure that defender is not moving out of position. Spamming the tackling button is really a big mistake that is hindering of you guys from improving. This mistake is common among Division 3 players and below. This mistake is very costly, especially in and around your box, because when you miss that tackle, your defender gets out of play for a short period of time, and the opponent can use this opportunity to punish you. And also, some players do the opposite. They don't tackle the ball and just rely on the jockey automatic tackles, which is not bad, but sometimes you miss that opportunity to dispossess the opponent. So to fix this mistake, you have to just understand little stuffs and develop new instincts. Number 1 is to get close to the opponent's player. Here you're increasing the chances of your defender contacting that ball. When you're close, it's very easy for your defender to step in and challenge for the ball. Some average players just spam the tackling button when that defender is not even close to the ball. This is bad and you should avoid it because your defender will perform the tackling animation, leaving him out of play. Number 2 is to observe the opponent's dribbling habits. When the opponent is dribbling the ball open, meaning the ball is in between your defender and his player, this is a big opportunity to step in and tackle it away because the ball is not safe at this moment. There's some moment when you get close and tackle the ball even if the opponent is dribbling safely, but here the chances of winning the ball are like 60%, and these moments you have to be so aggressive. So to make sure you tackle with higher chances of winning the ball, try tackling it when the opponent is dribbling openly. Number 3 is to observe the ball contacts. When the opponent is dribbling, we have that close ball control, where he dribbles with the ball close to the player's feet, and here he can change directions quickly. Tackling the ball in these moments, you have like 70% chances of winning the ball. Then we have heavy touch. Here the opponent dribbles and the ball always moves 2 to 4 feet away from the player's feet. So when the opponent knocks the ball away from his feet, making that heavy touch, during this moment his player is not in control of the ball. And when you decide to tackle the ball, you have 98% chances of winning that. So always watch out for heavy touches because these are perfect moments to win the ball. The opponent's player can make a heavy touch in 2 main situations. One is when sprinting. Here the player knocks the ball 2 to 3 feet away from his feet. So here you get close and press the tackling button. 2 is after performing any boosty skill move. Some skill moves are boosty, and therefore the exit touch is always heavy. And the perfect moment is to be patient and wait. When the player finishes the animation, step in and tackle the ball, as simple as that. Tackling, we have 2 ways to challenge for the ball. Number 1 is using the standing tackle, and then 2 is using the defender's shoulders, where you press X. We have a dedicated video breaking down the tackling concept from tactical defending to advanced defending. Looking at this quick clip where the opponent makes this mistake, here I pass the ball to my midfielder, and before even controlling the ball, the opponent selects his center back. According to his reaction, he used the L1 switch, and he was aiming for one of these midfielders, but the game selects the center back. But that's not the deal, because he realized it in turn. He approaches my midfielder. I see this open pass to my striker Mbappe, and I take it. I use the controlled sprint and dribble around the last defender, take an extra pass and score. So where the opponent's mistake in this clip, it's not all about player switching as he did here. And we have already covered that check link in the description. So the mistake comes here, as you see his defense shape, and especially this back four is organized. Every defender is in the position where he's supposed to be. And according to the back four, the ball in this zone, and the player supposed to defend this space or zone is this fullback. But the opponent didn't respect the team shape. Instead, he applied pressure using this center back. And now as you see, he dragged him out of position and disorganized the shape of the defense. This opened up a dangerous space in behind, which I used to create a goal scoring opportunity. So the main mistake, even if you're a good defender or not, you have to always prioritize keeping your defense shape organized, because it's the first purpose of defending. When you keep on dragging players out, you will always face through passes, and you wonder why the opponent always get in behind against your goalkeeper. So to fix this mistake, simply make sure that you understand which formation you're using and how your team line up while defending. For example, 4-4-2, you have the two strikers, the two central midfielders, and two wide midfielders aka wingers, two fullbacks and two center backs. So after understanding this, then you have to respect the role of each defender in his position. Every player has to defend his zone. If the ball is on the left wing, the left fullback is supposed to defend that zone. And again, don't drag this center back and rush all the way to the wing and defend. No, the center back has to defend when the ball is in his zone. And again, don't interchange these center backs. We have left center back and right center back. Always try to keep each center back in his position, as the same applies to midfielders. Another important way to keep your defense shape is to manually drag that player back to his position before you switch. This is situational. Sometimes you have to develop a feeling of that through pass, and normally where the opponent uses the pass and move technique, this player releases the ball and gets in behind. So in these situations, if you overcommit and the opponent passes the ball using that moving technique, you have to first pull this defender backwards before switching to another defender and apply pressure to the ball holder. This mostly happens on the wing, where the opponent sends his winger in behind, so he passes to his winger, baiting you to apply pressure with your defender. As soon as you do that, he passes back using the moving technique, sending his winger in behind and utilize the space opened by that fullback. So here, always be smart and drag that fullback back before switching away. We have a dedicated video explaining this team shape concept. Check the link in the description, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.